Hi, Jai Gurudev. Welcome to this English translation for Murugan Rahasiyam. So, before we start talking about Murugan Rahasiyam, it's very important that we invoke the Murugan Tatwa. There is a wonderful song, there's a wonderful poem in Tamil that extols the virtues of Murugan, and it goes like Uruvai Aruvai, means you're in the form and you're formless as well. Uladai, Iladai, Maruvai, Malarai, you're the smell, you're the fragrance, and you're the flower. Maniyai, Oliyai, you're the shine in the pearl, and you're the pearl itself. Karuvai, Uyirai, you're the pregnancy, you're the baby in the womb, and you're the life when that baby comes out. Gadiyai, Vidiyai, you're the ultimate destination, and you're also the path to that destination. So, Guruvai, Varuvai, Arulvai Guhane. Please come to me as my Guru right now and grace. Shower your blessings and grace on me. So before we start this, let us just invoke this Murugan Shakti in us by singing this chant. Uruvai, Aruvai, Uladai, Iladai, Maruvai, Malarai, Maniyai, Oliyai. கருவாய் உயிராய் கதியாய் விதியாய் குருவாய் வருவாய் அருள்வாய் குகனே. So just to give a quick background on who is Murugan. Murugan is the youngest son of Shiva and Parvati, the younger brother of Lord Ganesha. His claim to fame, as you have it, is that he is the guru of Shiva himself. He tells Shiva the meaning of Om, and that is how he is extolled in South India. And Gurudev has spoken on this day one. He has spoken on what Murugan Rahasya is and a little bit about some of the surrounding characters as well. So the cast of characters for today, for day one, are Murugan himself, his second consort Valdi, his brother Ganesha, and his mother Parvati. These are the main cast of characters for day one. So what I have done is I have consolidated what Gurudev has said into a few components. There's a lot of cultural references that Gurudev uses because Murugan is primarily venerated in South India, primarily in Tamil Nadu. There's a lot of cultural references that he goes back and forth with. And so while I have not interpreted anything, it is a verbatim translation of what Gurudev said. I've just consolidated the message, if you will, from the different parts of the day one discourse and put it in a series. So let's get started. So the first one is, what is Murugan Rahasya? Murugan Rahasya means secret. And Gurudev starts off by saying, Murugan himself is a secret. Murugan means beauty. Everyone in Tamil Nadu knows that. Beauty is not something that can be expressed or understood. We can experience beauty, but it is very difficult to understand beauty. You cannot understand because beauty, life, and living beings are all a secret. This creation is a secret. Love is a secret. We can experience these secrets, but if we want to understand them intellectually, that is an impossibility. Even so, with this Murugan Rahasya, we have embarked upon doing this impossible task. We can know Murugan Rahasyam only through our intellect. If we want to know the secret through, sorry, we can know this Murugan Rahasyam only through our heart. If we want to know the secret through our intellect, that is an impossible task. Now, at this point, Gurudev actually stops and he actually cries a little bit and After about a minute of this, he says, there's a saying, just be quiet and enjoy the bliss. After saying that, Gurudev moves on to who is Murugan. Murugan is the Shakti or the energy that is there in birth as well as in death. He is also the one that has no birth or death, and we see him as that phenomenon. When our ancestors were describing Murugan, they said Murugan appears where the words end, where the mind ends, where they don't exist at all. And Murugan is also that which exists everywhere. Murugan is made up of three words, three components. Mu, which stands for Mukundan, which is also another name for Lord Narayana, who is the maintenance energy in creation. Ru stands for Rudra. Rudra is an aspect of Shiva that is responsible for destruction or transformation. And Ka stands for Brahma, Muruka. So the creative, maintenance, and destructive or transformative energies are all in Murugan. But he is beyond all these. There is no place without Murugan. Inside us and outside us is all him alone. He is the energy that is everywhere. And what we need to do is we need to have this firm faith or Shraddha that I am that energy, you are that energy, and everywhere only that energy is prevalent. Now, Valli is the second wife of Muruga. This is what is said in the stories in the scriptures. So, who is Valli? In order to know about Lord Murugan, we first need to know Valli. So, just like in North India, there is this wonderful saying that in order to know Krishna, who is all love, who is the complete consciousness, you can only know that through Radha, which who represents longing. So, just like that in South India, we say that in order to reach Murugan, you have to go through Valli. So, who is this Valli? So, Valli represents three different things. The first one is she represents all the living beings in creation as well as all the desires that arise within them. The second thing that Valli represents is she is the Pingala Nadi. This is the nerve channel that runs on the right side of our body. And that's why she's also depicted as standing to the right of Lord Murugan. And on the left is his first wife, Devayani or Devasena. And the third thing that Valli represents is Icha Shakti or the energy behind all our desires. In humans, there are three types of Shakti or energy. It is Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti or the energy of knowledge, and Kriya Shakti or the energy that drives action. Now, of the three, the first is Icha Shakti. The desire to know comes first before the actual knowledge. There are several types of desires that arise in the mind. This is a wonderful energy in our soul. In life, the desire to have no desires is also a desire. The desire to renounce things, be without desires is also a desire. Like this, many desires keep arising. Wanting to do good is yet another desire. Now, whether a desire we get is good or bad is secondary. But seeing desire as an energy or Shakti is recognizing and honoring Valli. Right? So, if you notice, even for all of us, we heard about Murugan Rahasiyam and we got the desire to learn about this Murugan Rahasiyam, the secret behind Muruga. And that's why we're all here. We are listening live to Gurudev, we're listening to these translations and other sessions and having wonderful discussions. It's all because of this Icha Shakti. This yearning for knowledge alone leads to progress. Yeah. Good. So now let's look at the nature of desire. What is Gurudev saying? He said, now don't see a desire as good or bad, but just as an energy. Many times we don't even know what our desires are. We do not understand what it is that we want. If you went and asked someone, what do you really want? For some time, the person is you or me, right? We'll just be silent because we really don't know what it is that we want. So, without understanding desires, if we act on them, we get into problems, right? We do not understand what it is that we want. It could be a desire for an object, it could be a desire for other human companionship, it could be for position or for fame. But seeing all this as just energy helps us move forward in life. We have desire for bhoga, which is enjoyment of worldly things, yoga, which is enjoyment of spiritual aspects. Valli represents both of this as well as a third desire that goes beyond these two, and that is the desire for freedom. If we understand this, that is enough. We can live life beyond desires. Now, there are some people that say don't have desires. This is incorrect. Understand your desires. That's the way to progress. Most of the problems go away with this knowledge. In Tamil, it said 75% of your problems goes away just by knowing what your desire is, understanding your desire. Without understanding desires, if we act, then we get into problems. For example, if a thief knew that by stealing he would get into trouble, it will only cause him unhappiness, he'll end up in prison, then he would discard the desire at the root itself, isn't it? The desire to steal itself comes because he doesn't have faith in his own abilities. He doubts in his abilities to satisfy his own needs. All crimes happen because of a lack of understanding of desires. Understanding desires will root out wrongful acts and crime. Now, there's a wonderful story of the marriage between Murugan and Valdi. So it said that Murugan goes after Valdi quite a few times. He proposes to her and he keeps asking her to marry him, and she keeps rejecting his proposal. She just wants to stay with her friends, with the world, and she keeps saying no to him. And so this is where our other character comes into play, where Murugan enlists the help of his brother Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, and Ganesha comes in the form of a wild elephant when Valli is out roaming the forest. And Valli gets scared and runs away, and that is where she finds Murugan standing there to help her, right? And she finds refuge in Murugan. Now, this is the basic story, but Gurudev revealed the secret behind the story. The secret behind this is this: if we have to leave all worldly desires and have the desire to reach God, in this case Murugan, then a fear arises in us. We won't have fear when we desire just God, but when the desire is for worldly things, three types of fear arises in us. The first type of fear is before we attain what it is that we desire. We have doubt, oh, will I even get what I want to achieve? So this is the first type of fear that comes up in us. The second step is we have gotten what we desired, but now there is a fear of, oh, what if I lose it? And the third type of fear is what happens when we actually lose it. At that point, the fear reveals itself as disappointment and regret. So, to turn that worldly desire into desire for God or knowledge, that shift represents the story of Valli attaining Murugan. So, with small desires, sorrow follows. Knowing this, we start desiring indestructible joy and love. So Valli, so this story has another connotation, right? Valli goes towards bliss. Every human being has this energy, right? The seven chakras. The Mooladhara, the first chakra in the base of the spine, is the place for Ganesha. He removes all the obstacles. Once the obstacles are removed, then the prana rises through the Pingala Nadi, right? That is Valli. Again, going back, right? The Pingala Nadi is represented by Valli. So when the obstacles are removed, prana rises in us through the Pingala Nadi. And this gives rise to all knowledge and prosperity in our life. And one saint, Arunagiri Nadar, so he is one of the saints who has sung so many shlokas and poems and songs on Muruga. He talks about it in his own experience, and he says in meditation we first experience blankness, we see nothing. Then the next step of meditation is we feel we are not the body, I'm not the body. All of you and all of us have experienced this as meditators, right? Even the body, we are aware of the head or we are aware of our leg or any other part of the body only when it is paining, right? But to go beyond body consciousness is meditation, bringing the mind from the outside back to the inside effortlessly is what Valli, honoring Valli, helps bring in our life. So only by honoring Valli, only by honoring this energy behind all desires, can we experience Murugan. Right? So, and then Gurudev goes on to explain Valli as the Pingala Nadi. What is this Pingala Nadi? What is this Nadi that is on the right side? Right? She is represented as the Pingala Nadi. She is represented with a lotus in her hand. A lotus is connected with the sun, right? And the sun is also the Pingala Nadi. The Pingala Nadi is also called the Surya Nadi, right? Which runs on the right side of the body. This Nadi is responsible for giving as well as receiving knowledge. Only through Valli we can get to knowledge. We can learn something good only if we have the desire for that learning. Otherwise, we can't, right? So, this desire, let good thoughts come in my heart, let me be good in society. This desire, this underlying energy of good thoughts is Valli. And it's important to know that only when the Surya Nadi, the right side of our Nadi, is active, that knowledge will be understood. Right now, if you look in your own system, if your left Nadi is active, you probably want to just sing or just sit in silence and just meditate. You don't really care about what I'm saying. But if the right Nadi is active, that is when understanding of knowledge happens. If the left Nadi is active, you just want to be silent or you want to sing. So the important learning from this, he says, is when you want your kids to study or you yourself want to learn something, then do pranayama. There is a saying in India, people do a little bit of teasing. They say, oh, if you just sit and you hold your nose, are you going to get food? Are you going to get everything that you want in life? But it's not just sitting and doing pranayama, but it is understanding the secret behind the breath. If you know your own breath, you know everything there is to know. And if you don't know your breath, then you're stuck. Right? Now, the next topic he talks about is freedom, as well as how it intersects with science and spirituality. So whether it is science or spirituality, an interest is needed. And that interest is Valli. All of us have this energy or Shakti. We need to honor this energy. And in order to do this, we need broad-mindedness. If we ask someone, what do you really want? For some time, they won't be able to answer. For our basic physical needs, we can say we need food, clothing, shelter, friends, etc. Same for the mind, we need entertainment. We need some drama. We need some music. We need these things to give a little happiness to us in our lives. But beyond this, if we ask what do we want, then that desire is the desire for freedom. We want a freedom from all of these worldly experiences. No one says they want freedom from love or freedom from knowledge or for that matter, beauty. We want freedom because whatever we experience causes bondage in us. How to get out of this bondage is what we need to learn. We experience so many things, and these experiences and objects themselves become a bondage. How to get freedom from this is a desire that everyone has. But to get this freedom, you need to desire it. Right? So let's say you let out a bird in a cage and say, okay, fly away. But the bird keeps coming back to the cage. Or you have a dog that is chained and you remove the chain and tell the dog to go, but the dog just keeps sitting there. This is because it does not even know what freedom is. So this desire for freedom first needs to arise. Now, how do we understand these desires? When desires arise, look at them. What is the desire that is arising? After that, see what the result of the desire could be. See what type of mindset you are in. Are you in sattva, rajas, or tamas? When you are in a tamasic state, you could get a desire to go and beat somebody up. You could get a desire to kill somebody or hurt them. But the result of this is when you go to them, they also catch on to that same energy, and you may end up being the person who gets beaten up because you have received this desire and this impulse to act on it. This is where Ganesha comes. Ganesha comes in and says, look at the long term implications and changes that desire from a worldly one to a spiritual one. Right? So, this pretty much is the summary of what he said today. And at the end, he summarized. So, what is Murugan? So, Murugan means beauty. In Tamil, the saying is Murugan என்றால் அழகு, means they are synonymous. You cannot say one without the other. When you say Murugan, you say beauty. There is no separation. We should all enjoy the beauty in creation and all the creatures in it. When can we enjoy beauty? Only when we are devoid of cravings and aversions. Otherwise, these occupy our whole mind, and then we are unable to enjoy the beauty. Just like a small dust particle blocks the entire sky from our vision, hatred in us blocks beauty and knowledge. Only by eliminating this can we gain knowledge, know our desires, and enjoy beauty. Hatred, so the difference is hatred is not a desire. Hatred has feverishness. It's not Icha Shakti. Icha Shakti arises in a craving and aversion free mindset. Only then we can recognize it as Valdi. The desire to enjoy beauty arises only in this mindset. For this, an expanded consciousness is needed. And for this, we need meditation. Right? And people ridicule pranayama. We said this before, right? They, by saying, will it holding your nose give you food or will you get the work done? It's not about holding the nose, but understanding the secret behind the breath. If we know the breath, we know the world, and we know everything about all living beings. And knowing this is the requirement to know Murugan. To experience this consciousness, we have to go away from the five senses and learn to appreciate beauty. Whatever we see as divine, in that aggression disappears. All the hatred and anger we see in the world today is because of ignorance. Science and spirituality together is life. One doesn't exist without the other. We need to have an interest in both, and that interest or desire is Valdi. Don't attempt to destroy your desire, simply recognize the underlying energy. Right? At this point, he goes on to a story. So there's a story of Murugan wanting Murugan and Ganesha, both of them want a mango. Shiva and Parvati tell them the mango represents all the knowledge, right? And so Murugan and Ganesha both want the fruit. And so Shiva and Parvati say, okay, you go around the entire world. Whoever goes around the entire creation 3 times and comes back to us first will get this fruit. So Murugan immediately gets on his peacock and he goes around the world. He goes around all of creation and then 3 times he circles. And Ganesha is generally sitting. He's eating his modak and everything. He's sitting around and they don't know. Shiva and Parvati don't know why he's doing that, but he's simply sitting. And then he sees Murugan is coming back from his third round, and Ganesha gets up and says, "You represent all of creation and all the knowledge in it. So going around you 3 times is enough for me. That represents going around all of creation." So he goes around them 3 times, collects the fruit, and sits while Murugan comes back. Now, Murugan, when he sees that Ganesha has the fruit and he sees that he has been quote unquote deceived by this choice of Ganesha to simply go around the 3 of them, he says, I want to renounce everything and go to go and become a saint. So the in South India there are temples where Murugan is represented with nothing but a underwear. Right? So he leaves everything and he goes with a stick, shaves his head, and just stands with an underwear. It's called Andi. He's called Andi, Parani Andi. Right? So this is the story of Murugan going away. Now at this point, okay, then I'll tell you what Gurudev said because he tells the remaining part of the story himself. So the story is clear, no? Yes. Okay. Murugan had the desire for the jnana param or the fruit of knowledge. He went on his peacock and went around the 3 worlds to gain all of the scientific knowledge. But before he came back, Ganesha got the fruit by getting the knowledge of the self. That is what he meant by I'm going around you 3 times, gives me all the knowledge I need, and that is the knowledge of the self. Now, when Murugan comes back, he has all the knowledge of the world or science, but he is not content. Murugan had the desire to renounce and go away as a saint. You can get frustrated with science, but you cannot get frustrated with knowledge of the self. So when Murugan is going away, then Parvati comes after him. The Mother Divine comes after Murugan and she tells him, Tattvamasi, you are that. But she tells him in Tamil. She says, Param ni appa, you are the fruit. And that is the birth of the Tamil language, is when Parvati tells Murugan, Param ni appa, you are the fruit, my dear. Why are you looking for the fruit outside? You represent all that is there to know. So why are you looking for it outside? The beauty of this is we say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, right? But before that we say what are the 4 gurus are Mata, Pita, Guru and Devam. We always put mother as the first guru. And this is the first instance of it. Even though Murugan is the guru of his father, of Shiva, of the guru, mother, his mother is his guru because she has to come and tell him, my dear, you are the fruit of knowledge. She tells him, you are the embodiment of knowledge. Why do you desire the fruit of knowledge? This is the start of the Tamil language. Again, Murugan என்றால் அழகு. Murugan means beauty. And we also say Murugan என்றால் Tamil. There is no separating Murugan from the Tamil language also. There are so many local songs that extol this. The one that we sang in the beginning, right? Uruvai, Aruvai, right? So it says that he is the silence and he is the sound. He is the form, he is the formless. He is the mind and he is the thoughtlessness. He is the flower, he is the smell. He is the baby in the womb, he is the life that comes after it. Everything is just him. And at this point, Gurudev says everyone should learn these songs. So these 4 lines, maybe we can do a session just on those 4 lines. The stories in the Puranas are one thing, but knowing that Murugan is love, Murugan is beauty, Murugan is valor and courage, Murugan is knowledge. Knowing this is honoring Valli or the Ichcha Shakti in us. And then Gurudev does a meditation and he summarizes everything towards the end. So, did you all do the meditation? Was everyone able to do the meditation on day one? Yes, no. Good. Translation was okay, I'm assuming. The summary is Valli is on the right side. She has a lotus in her hand, which is connected with the Surya Nadi. When this right side Pingala Nadi, Surya Nadi, the nervous channel that represents the sun is active, then if we take a sankalpa or an intention and we pray, it will definitely happen. This is Valli Rahasiyam. So long we were talking about Murugan Rahasiyam, but this is Valli Rahasiyam, which is what? When the Surya Nadi is active, when the right side Nadi is active, if we take a sankalpa and we pray, it will definitely happen. This is the secret of Valli. Pray and act when the right Nadi is active. Even when we are doing pujas, when we are doing homas, when we are taking the sankalpas, or when someone is giving a blessing, all this happens and has an effect when the right Nadi is active. Right? So by right Nadi, you just need to see if your right nostril is active. Right? So you're on the left side. So Gurudev says that also, no? I think he says when you're meditating, either your left side nostril or either both nostrils should be active or your left should be active for meditation, silence, and music, and the right should be active whenever you want to be in knowledge. And here he says it's needed for blessings, to take a sankalpa, whatever it is. Valli is Ichcha Shakti. Without language, a desire or even a thought cannot arise. Without letting the desire become an aversion or becoming averse to desires, honor the desire and attend to Murugan. Surrender all of these to Murugan. There is a wonderful saying, Velundu vinayillai, Mayilundu bayamillai, Valli undu kurayillai. So when Murugan is there with me, I have no worry, I have no fears. And when I honor Valli, then there is no lack in my life. That he ends. Vetrivel Muruganukku Arohara. It's like saying Jai, Jai Shiva, Jai Matadi. Is Vetrivel Muruganukku Arohara. We can say together. So before we end, we will chant, do the same shloka one more time, right?
Okay.
And end with Vetrivel Muruganukku Arohara after that. Right. So let's just sit with the eyes closed, chant it 2 times. Eyes are closed. Uruvaay, Aruvaay, Uladaay, Iladaay, Maruvaay, Malaray, Maniyay, Voliyay, Karuvaay, Uyiray, Gadiyay, Vidiyay, Guruvaay, Varuvaay, Arulvaay, Guhani, Uruvaay, Aruvaay, Uladaay, Iladaay, Maruvaay, Malaray, Maniyay, Voliyay, Karuvaay, Uyiray, Gadiyay, Vidiyay, Guruvaay, Varuvaay, Arulvaay, Guhani. Vetrivel Muruganukku Arohara.